So got a new motorcycle. It's nice. Way different than my old Shadow was. Let me show you how it looks. What we have here is a Yamaha FZ-07 2017 model. Little sport bike, parallel twin engine, 689-ish cc's. Only ridden it once so far, but it is fantastic little bike. And I am quite happy with it so far, but I'm going to take my second ride and give the GoPro a try and we'll see how it looks. Not even near the red line yet. Yeah, that's one of the biggest differences I noticed was right off the bat. The gearing is so different. I'm in second, doing maybe 6,000 RPMs. The red line's at 10. Just effortless power. It also turns way easier than my Shadow does, which you'd expect for what is essentially a naked sport bike versus a tiny little cruiser. But it's got a 6-speed transmission. The first ride I went on, I was cruising down 54, about 60 miles an hour. I was in 4th gear. I haven't even touched 5th or 6th gear yet. But man, does it turn nice. And it is really easy to get in trouble too, if you can tell. Like, yeah, 55 miles an hour, cruising in 4th gear, not even halfway up the rev range. Oh, and it's just so light. It flicks around so easily. Does whatever you want. I never thought my Shadow was slow, but holy crap, compared to this, I can't imagine why you'd even need a leader bike for street use. Maybe on a track, sure, but for the road, this is all the power I could ever want. I'm gonna cruise down 50. Yeah, I'm not even touching the brakes. Just engine braking is sufficient. And we go. Nice and easy through the turn, and then off we go. Woohoo! Just effortless power. It just goes. Let's see how 5th feels. It's just moseying on 6th. Not that much lower. But it'll cruise at 4,000 RPM at this speed, I guess. Good enough. Not the only real problem I've had with it so far is the mirrors. I don't know how well you can tell, but my shoulders obscure a lot directly behind me, and that's no bueno. I've got a set of risers on order that'll move it from about here to about there, so give me about that much more space. That should make all the difference I need, honestly. But oh, it feels good. And I'm faster than like 95% of all cars on the road, so yeah, enough power to get out of trouble. And I don't ride like a hooligan, so I don't get into trouble when I can help it. Mostly. Another thing I'm looking to get is a tank bag. I don't know if you've seen my other ride on my Shadow, but I've got a little bag that's a magnetized bag that sits on top of the gas tank. Basically like a little glove box when I go, which is very handy for storing things like, I don't know, a sun pass. Oh, I suppose I could probably fit a sun pass in here. I don't know. God, it's just so effortless and light, and you know, when people talk about motorcycles, I talk about that whole, you know, bullshit freedom thing, but Compared to my last bike, it's like, holy crap, I could do anything on the road with this. And it's so much narrower than my old bike, I can fit it anywhere on the road. Even getting out of the garage is easier, squeezing between two cars in the driveway. Like, I barely pull the throttle and it goes. Just power whenever you want it. Because this thing comes with a stock exhaust too. Whoever owned this before I did, they put some work into it. This metal windscreen wasn't there to start with. It's got frame sliders on the side in case it gets dropped to keep from damaging the plastics on it. Little spindles on it to lift when you put it on a stand. And they upgraded the horn. The horn is a lot louder than the stock horn, which is great because you never know when you need a horn. But all in all, it's really been a dream to ride this thing. I didn't even know what I was missing out on. And that's not to say the Shadow's a bad bike, not in the slightest. It's a great bike. In fact, I'd say it's a great beginner bike, even for being a pretty good size and weight. You know, it's got enough power to go wherever you want to. And being a bigger cruiser, you could stack luggage on it all day long if you wanted to, like I did. I've just got so much control over it too. Like staying exactly where I want to in the lane. This thing dances. See, as far as upgrades go, I've got those those mirror extenders coming in. Those are like 20 bucks, they're cheap. I'm looking at getting a tank bag, like I said. There's a nice one that has like a little locking system that installs on here. I don't know if you can see. And then the bag can just snap in and off, so I can take it off, but it'll secure nicely without needing straps or anything. And then eventually I'm looking at getting like saddlebags and maybe a top case or maybe just a plain old luggage rack. I haven't decided yet, but that's a ways away. I just got it. It's gonna be for cruising around, having a good time. And yeah, still getting used to the throttle from zero. It's a little touchy. But holy crap, you get up to speed so quick on this thing. It's, oh, so good. And honestly, it's all, I'd almost say it's more comfortable to sit on than the Shadow, which I didn't think it would be. I've been leery of sport and naked bikes specifically because since your legs are tucked up beneath you, I thought my long 6 foot tall legs, I thought I'd be just scrunched up and uncomfortable. Instead, it's actually kind of nice compared to being the forward controls on my Shadow. Because with your feet all the way forward on the Shadow, you're just resting all your weight on your butt and your tailbone just kind of gets squished after a while. It's not pleasant. Now the seat on this thing is not terribly soft, but since I'm supporting my weight on the pegs directly beneath me, I can flat foot it no problem. It's not as short, the seat is not as low to the ground as my Shadow was, but I can flat foot this no problem. It's not too tall. So yeah, 2017 Yamaha FZ-07. They're also called the MT-07 worldwide, and they changed the name here in America this year, I think. And so far, at least, rides like a dream. I'm super happy with it. I picked it up at Cycle Springs over in Clearwater from a guy named Mike there. I forget his last name, but he was friendly. He was fun to work with. So a fun fact about positioning in the road when you're on a motorcycle, you want to stay like on the far left or right side for a couple reasons. One is if you're staying out of the center of the road, you're not picking up all the grease from all the cars and their oil drippings and whatever. You're going in the lines where their tires are at, which means they're more likely to have picked up any debris that might give you a puncture or something. Also, so you can see past them, because you're usually not as high off the ground. And it's way easier to see past the cars in front of you if you're on the far left or right side of the lane. Yeah, great little bike. As far as I've ridden it for the first, you know, I got it at 5,092 miles. Put about 60 on it so far. Oh, it's fun. I'm not one of those guys that gets a bike and just rides it like once a month and puts like 10 miles on it at a time. No. My bikes are for leisure, so when I get on it, I'm taking a long loop around Pasco County or going to the next town over or something like that. I'll put on like 100 miles in a single trip. Plus I'm commuting. I've commuted to work once or twice to the office and saves on gas quite a bit. My Shadow, like I said, I usually get about 50 to the gallon on that big old V-twin. And this thing, we'll find out, but it should be getting about the same or better gas mileage. I think the rating on it I saw was like 72 horsepower at the wheel, which is plenty. Considering the bike plus me weighs about, I don't know, 800 pounds. No. 650 pounds, 700 pounds, something like that. That's how much the two of us combined weigh. So 72 horsepower in something about a third the weight of a modern compact car. As you can imagine, the power to weight ratio is just insane compared to most cars. Yeah, still learning to rev match on it, but at least I have a tachometer. My Shadow doesn't have a tachometer at all. You just use your butt dyno to gauge how fast the engine is turning. Ah, great. Go! What the hell are you doing? You done? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it sounds like the engine's screaming. It's not. The red line's at 1,000 RPM. I think the rev limiter kicks in around 12,000. I guess that's where the red line's at. But like, I'm doing 6,000. This is like cruising speed. In fourth gear. In fifth, not even. The engine's not stressed at all doing this. I'm gonna head home. Girls got some exercise, and I got my video footage. Yeah, fast enough. But yeah, put a more comfortable seat on this. Add a little bit of a windscreen to get the air over my helmet and reduce the pressure on my chest. Hell yeah, I could ride this all day long, no problem. The throttle is very twitchy, so I'm especially leery when I'm doing turns about giving it too much air, giving too much twist. But oh man, this is great. Just effortless power maneuverability. I can go anywhere, it feels like. Let's wave to the kids. Those are some of our neighbors right here. We got a whole bunch of egrets. Herons? Egrets? I think they're egrets. They wander around. The other night I was like, insomnia was up at like midnight. Totally saw like 5 deer just grazing over here. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. It's so flicky, I love it. And just walk it up nice and easy. And viola. All right. Well, that was fun. Till next time.